Hey, I'm Adam, and today I'm going to teach you the best technique for how to properly roll a joint. Now, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to teach you the benefits of quitting weed. Now, I've been smoking weed for almost 3 or 4 years, and while I was smoking weed, I was also trying to develop a daily meditation habit. So I've developed a lot of mindfulness of how smoking weed affects your mind and how it affects meditation. So I'm going to share with you today some of the insights that I've learned about smoking weed and how it's negatively affecting your mind. And I want to start off with this quote that my meditation teacher told me about drugs, because I would always ask him about smoking weed and how it's, how I should quit. And this is what he said: meditation is like gold, and drugs are like silver. Silver tarnishes, but gold does not. And what that means is that silver tarnishes, meaning that you have to keep polishing it for it to be shiny. But gold never tarnishes. It's just gold. Once you have it, it's shiny forever. And that's like meditation. Because when you practice meditation, the benefits are lasting and they stay with you. But when you smoke weed, the benefits only last for 30 minutes, and then you start to get tired and you start to get lazy, and you have to smoke again. You have to polish the silver in order for it to stay shiny. And he said to me, if you already have a gold necklace, why would you trade it for a silver necklace? The gold necklace is more valuable. And I agree. And after many tries of trying to quit weed, I finally quit what I believe is for good. I haven't smoked in over 2 months, and I feel no reason to go back to it. So we're going to start by talking about why I smoke weed and why I think a lot of people smoke weed. And the number one reason is because it's a social thing and it's a way to meet new friends, especially in high school, where you don't really know a lot of people and you're trying to expand your friend group. A really good way to meet people is by smoking weed. And that's what I would do, is I would use weed as an excuse to hang out with people and, chat and basically make connections and make friends. So subconsciously, I've associated smoking weed with social connection, which is a basic human need. And since I've mentally associated, that basically turns smoking weed into one of my basic human needs. And I feel that I almost can't make friends if they don't smoke weed. Another reason why people smoke weed is because it's like a shortcut for feeling good and feeling high. And it's a shortcut for getting that connection to reality that should be coming from your daily meditation practice. But since that's hard and I don't want to meditate, instead it's a lot easier to just buy some weed and smoke it with my friends and then feel that same high. The only problem is that the high goes away and then it's followed by a low, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes. Also, smoking weed helps me enjoy art. So my friends and I really like listening to rap music, just because I personally really enjoy like the poetry and the complex rhyme schemes. So when I would get high, I would really focus and zero in on the art, which is in this case the rap song, and I would just appreciate it, and it would seem so profound and like the most important thing ever, and like the best thing I've ever seen, because weed has a tendency to make you appreciate art a lot more. So that's why people like to go on Netflix binges when they smoke, because that movie that you're watching is so much better. And the last reason why people smoke weed is because of escapism, and you basically use it as a way to run away from their problems and to sweep all of their anxieties under the rug. And this leads to some really serious problems, which we're going to get into now. And one of the main problems with smoking weed is, as you sweep all those negative emotions under the rug, and you don't have any mindfulness over them, they start to manifest in negative ways in your life. And that's why a lot of my friends who smoke weed, who have been smoking weed for 4 or 5 years constantly, a lot of them have anxiety problems. And I've talked to a lot of people who were regular weed smokers, but they can't smoke anymore because it gives them anxiety. The main problem with smoking weed is what me and my friends have coined this term called perm, and it basically is short for permafried. And the main problem with smoking weed is that it makes you permafried, and you basically feel this type of mind fog, and you feel a little bit slower, a little bit less sharp. And if you smoke weed a lot, that permness is accumulating in your life, and it's basically the opposite of mindfulness. And if you've watched any of my other videos, then you know that mindfulness is the best and most effective way for increasing your quality of life and your overall happiness. So if smoking weed is doing the opposite of that, instead of increasing mindfulness, it's increasing permness, then it's in the long term going to make you sad and depressed. Another problem with smoking weed is that it makes you tired and it makes you lazy. And I noticed that whenever I smoke weed, after about an hour or two, let's say I come home and I want to do nothing except play on my phone, watch YouTube videos, maybe watch some porn, maybe eat just like a bunch of food, because since weed makes you appreciate things so much more for that moment, you're gonna want to turn to all these external forms of temporary happiness so that you can get back up to that level of high as the weed is wearing off and you're coming down. So that's a serious problem if you're binging on food, on video games, on porn. That's going to have a lot of long-term detrimental effects on your life, and it's going to only add to that mind fog that I was talking about. Also, smoking weed all the time has a tendency to cause you to hang out with less than amazing friends. And a lot of the friends that you'll make through smoking weed, the only thing that you'll have in common with them is the fact that you guys both like to smoke weed and get high. So a lot of the time, these aren't your real friends, and they aren't your true friends. They just like to smoke weed with you. And I'm not saying that you can't build strong friendships with people who smoke weed, but I am saying that smoking weed will cause you to hang out with a lot of people that are only going to bring you down. And the last problem with smoking weed is that although weed doesn't have any physically addictive properties that I've noticed, I don't have any physical withdrawal symptoms, smoking weed is addictive psychologically, because anything that makes you feel high or makes you feel good can be addictive, and I've met probably over 50 people that are addicted to smoking weed, and they would have serious trouble quitting without cravings. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits that I've gotten from quitting weed for 2 months now. And this gets me so excited because it's really amazing. The first benefit that is super clear after a week of quitting smoking weed is that your mental clarity or your mindfulness increases. And this is so important because, like I've said in many of my other videos, your mindfulness and your mental clarity is one of the factors that correlates the most with your overall happiness in your life. So as your mental clarity and your mental sharpness increases, that is what leads to all these other benefits that I'm going to talk about right now. Also, just as a side note, you'll see these benefits a lot more and a lot more clearly if you have a daily meditation practice. You'll have more energy after quitting smoking weed. Because I notice if, let's say I smoke weed during the day, I'll smoke a joint at noon, and then by 2, I'll have to take a nap. And then for the rest of the day, I'm basically, I'm ruined until maybe 5 p.m. when it fully starts wearing off, then I can be productive again. Also, smoking weed makes me more disciplined because I'm not always trying to chase highs, which I would do a lot when I smoked weed. So like, I'm not always trying to, get high on video games or porn or food. Instead, I'm able to be more disciplined, and that also makes me more productive. So I can do stuff like film these videos, meditate more, read, work out, all these things that are gonna also add to my mental clarity, but just make me feel better about myself and make me have more self-esteem. Smoking weed also has increased my sex drive, which also means that it has increased my motivation in life to go out there and to get things done and to meet new people and to create stuff and to work out at the gym, stuff like that. And your sex drive in both men and women is very correlated with your motivation in life, because that sexual energy that's inside of you can be basically transfigured or changed into motivational energy that you use to achieve, basically motivational energy that will motivate you to do things that are going to help you become a better person. Smoking weed has also allowed me to cut off all my toxic, negative friendships, and it makes me more naturally drawn towards people who are quitting weed or have never smoked weed, or just people who have more mental clarity in their own lives, because we can both resonate at the same level of vibration. So that's obviously going to have a lot of positive effects in my life, because these people are type of passionate, motivated people, and that positive energy rubs off on me and makes me feel better. And just in general, weed makes you feel more happy, because instead of relying on that drug to make you feel okay, after maybe a month, your baseline levels of happiness are gonna stagnate, and you're gonna feel a lot happier without having things to make you happy. So you won't need that food or that weed or that video games to make you feel happy. you just naturally feel happy. And that's what true happiness is, unconditional happiness. And I have other videos about that as well. Weed also improves your social skills. Since it's improving your mental clarity, all of these benefits are stemming from improved mental clarity. Your social skills are also going to get better because you're going to be more witty, you're going to be more sharp, you're going to be in the moment more, and you're going to be less stuck in your mind and worried about people judging you, and you're going to flow with the conversation a lot better, and you're going to become more charismatic. And quitting smoking weed also gives you more energy to read, work out, and meditate. And these are the top 3 things that I have set as the number 1 priority in my life. And basically quitting weed is going to help you have the energy to do these things. Now, let's quickly go over some of the tips that I've used that have helped me kick the habit. And the number 1 tip that I'm going to give you is meditation. Who would have expected that one? But seriously though, as you've probably seen in my last video, how meditation auto-corrects your life, with a daily meditation practice, you're increasing your awareness of all the negative things that weed is doing to your mind. It's making you have more mind fog. It's making you get lost in thoughts a lot easier. And as you meditate, you're going to naturally want to quit, because all of these negative things that the weed is doing to your mind are not what you want. So naturally, after cultivating a daily meditation practice, it took me like 2 years, but eventually the weed will just naturally fall away from your life. So number 1 tip for quitting weed, daily meditation practice. And then you can keep smoking weed, but as long as you meditate every single day, eventually you'll just naturally quit without a lot of effort, besides the effort that you put in to your daily meditation practice. My second tip is try again. It took me like 30 tries to quit smoking weed, which I'm both proud of and not proud of. I'm proud that I had the determination to try so many times to quit, but I'm also not proud that it took that many tries. But realistically, it's hard. It's really hard. And you have to keep trying. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to smoke weed for the next 10 years of my life, so there's no point of even trying to quit. And then you just be depressed and you be a victim. You have to try so many times. My dog is barking, it's distracting me. Next tip for quitting is hang out with different friends. A lot of your friends, if all they want to do is smoke weed, that's what you're going to want to do, is smoke weed. So I'm not saying you have to cut them off entirely, which would be best, but try hanging out with people who have other interests, other hobbies besides just sitting around and smoking weed. Also, if you have some real friends, get them to help you. Tell your friends, hey, don't allow me to smoke weed, and don't smoke weed with me. And if I want to smoke weed, don't give it to me, or something like that. And that type of support system might help you quit weed in the long run. So that's it. That's all I have. To conclude, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. If you're serious about quitting weed and you want to taste some of these benefits for yourself, try going 21 days without smoking weed, and tell yourself it's not a permanent thing, but 21 days just to taste some of the benefits that I'm talking about here, so that you actually make it real for yourself and it's not all just theory in your mind. Then I think that you'll get a lot of motivation to quit for good, because you'll feel all these positive things that I'm talking about, and your mental clarity is going to increase, and you're going to naturally want to quit for good. that's all I have. This advice is also good for alcohol, smoking cigarettes, and a lot of other addictions. But weed is just one of those substances that I find that people kind of trick themselves into thinking that it's good for you. Whereas alcohol and cigarettes, people know that it's not good for you, but smoking weed, I think that it can be done in a responsible way. Like if you smoke once a month, then that's not going to have any detrimental effects on your life. But me personally, I have a very addictive personality, and it's very difficult for me to smoke weed once a month. And I've noticed that if I'm only going to be smoking weed once a month, I might as well just quit for good, right? So that's all I have. More videos coming. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you've gained some insight and that you actually try quitting smoking weed for yourself. And that's it. Leave me a like. Leave, comment what you liked. Subscribe for more videos like this that are going to help you improve all aspects of your life. And we're going to try and increase our meditation powers, which is our mindfulness. We're going to try and increase our mindfulness so that we can make an amazing life for ourselves. So see you in the next video, and have an amazing day.